There was a time when buying an affordable new car meant compromising a lot of creature comforts and performance, but times have definitely changed. Presenting the Changan Alsvin Patinum. Now, I don't usually start with price, but today I'm going to make an exception because this top-of-the-range Changan Alsvin sells for only 679,000 pesos. And that places this in the same price range as most A-segment or mini-compact cars. But this is a subcompact sedan. So now you're probably wondering, okay, so what's the catch? Is this comparable to what Freddie Flintstone drives? Well, as we proceed with this review, you'll see that that isn't the case. Most vehicles at this price point are merely designed to get you from point A to point B, and you usually don't use words like fun or exciting to describe them. But this is proof that you can have an affordable car that won't make you feel like you've hit rock bottom, or at the very least, like you're settling for less. For starters, the exterior does not look like anything within the same price point. Aside from being bigger, you'll also see that they didn't scrimp on any of the exterior kit. At the front, you get projector-type halogen headlights and DRLs. We've all heard of the Tiger Nose Grille, while some of you may know the expanding Cosmos Grille. This here is the Butterfly Wings Radiator Grille, and it looks pretty aggressive for a butterfly. Now at this price point, you can forgive a car for having hubcaps, but that's not the case here because this has 15-inch alloys, which do a pretty decent job in filling the wheel wells. Now if you think 15s are small, just remember that not too long ago, that was the standard wheel size for most mid-size sedans. In any case, you also get side mirrors with repeaters, which isn't common at this price point. At the back, there's not much to report. Everything is pretty standard, except for the fact that you get proximity sensors, a rear diffuser, and a reverse camera. Opening the trunk reveals 390 liters of trunk space, which isn't too bad. However, you can't fold the rear seats to store larger objects. This interior does not scream budget meal. Even at first glance, you'll be able to tell that this is very well appointed. There's enough hard plastic here to outnumber your mother's Tupperware collection, but nothing feels flimsy or delicate, and all touch points are extremely soft. I can really see that they made an effort to keep this interior from looking boring, although the center stack looks a little bit messy. But at least all the controls are intuitive enough to be operated by feel, which will really help you keep your eyes on the road. And look, someone left their iPad here. Oh no, that's the infotainment system, which comes in the form of a 7-inch touchscreen that could be better integrated. Well, actually, it's mostly just an audio system aside from being a screen for the reverse and blind spot camera. Yes, this has a blind spot camera. Now moving on to the instrument cluster, you get an analog speedometer flanked by 2 small screens that give you a digital readout of everything else. Now the AC controls are manual, but everything is soft touch. And you also get a readout of your AC settings on this screen. This also comes with a flat bottom steering wheel to give it some character, although it's not leather wrapped. But at least you get leather seats. Now they're not the softest seats on the planet, but they do provide just enough support. And to add to the comfort, you also get the center armrest, which again isn't common for subcompact cars. More so for cars at this price point. I'm sorry, but I'm going to be saying that quite a lot in this video. But price point aside, you do get some niceties such as a gated shifter, cruise control, and a sunroof. However, at the back is where this car's price becomes a bit more evident. Space there is just enough to seat 2 adults comfortably, but there aren't any amenities there. You don't get air vents, you don't even get a center armrest or seat pockets. But it's still an extremely impressive interior with all things considered. And besides, this comes with features that some cars twice its price don't even have. So far, what we have here is a well-appointed, affordable car. But we really want to find out if there's a catch. And it's hard to say that there isn't until we take it out for a drive. So what are we waiting for? Let's go. Under the hood of the Changan Alsvin Patinum, you get a naturally aspirated 1.5-liter engine that produces 106 horsepower and 145 Newton meters of torque. Now those numbers won't be enough to light the world on fire, but it's definitely more than enough for something that only weighs 1,100 kilograms. The engine is mated to a 5-speed wet-type DCT. And being a wet-type transmission means that it'll remain cooler compared to a dry-type DCT, so you don't have to worry about overheating issues. Now, it does take a split second for it to downshift when you floor it, but overall, the transmission responds quite adequately to your throttle inputs, and it also shifts pretty smoothly. You can also pop it into manual mode in case you want a bit more action. Power delivery is actually very smooth, and you feel most of the power as you get closer to the top end of the rev range. This car is surprisingly agile. Steering is also extremely light, but at least it doesn't feel lethargic or disconnected. It still responds quite promptly to your steering inputs. The ride is also pretty comfortable, even given the fact that this has a torsion beam suspension, which is typical for cars at this price point or subcompact cars in general. But the ride is not jarring. In fact, the suspension is fairly compliant. Now, there is a bit of body roll around the bends, but the car remains planted and it isn't unnerving to take corners at high speed. Now, if there's one thing that makes this car's price evident in the way it drives, that would be its NVH, because you do hear the road noise and the wind noise. But again, at this price point, what more do you expect? Another thing I'd like to point out is that visibility is really good. You have a nice commanding view of your surroundings. But despite that, you also get this blind spot camera, which comes in really handy when you're making right-hand turns. So the question is there a catch in the way this car drives? Well, the answer to that would be a resounding no, because there really isn't a catch. But even that would be an understatement, because to say that this car meets your expectations isn't doing it justice. This car actually exceeds expectations, especially in the performance department, and it's actually quite fun to drive. The words affordable and platinum don't usually go together, but the Changan Alsvin Platinum goes to show that buying an affordable car doesn't have to translate to a compromise when it comes to looks, features, and most importantly, performance.